Continuing the discussion of basic symbols and components, their functions, before I went over the protective devices, the fuse, the circuit breaker, and the fusible link, these are always, you'll see these in automotive schematics. Let's go to other ones. Ground, you will always see, it's a physical ground. As opposed to a ground given by the computer, when it comes to fuel injection and other ones, sometimes it gives you a B plus, or 12 volts. Sometimes it gives you a ground. I call that ground a virtual ground. This is a physical ground, meaning it's on the body, on the chassis ground, electrical ground, but it is a physical ground. Going to the closed switch and going to the open switch, you will see these all the time in automotive and the other schematic. So I'm going over the symbols that come up mostly in automotive. Open switch means the default switch is it's in the open one. If you want to close it, then obviously you activate the switch, and when you activate the switch, from here till here will be closed. So it's going from an open position to a closed position. Let's take the opposite. This is normally closed. You see the arrows? The arrows, when this is closed, it looks like this. Take this out and open this. Normally it's closed. See, let's say the connection is going to a switch, the connection is going to a fuel pump. You're connected from the switch, ignition switch, to the fuel pump. I open it. Now I'm going from here to here. Now it's open. Now it looks like this one. So this one looks like this one when it's activated, and this one looks like this one when it's activated. Now you come to two switches gang together. What does that mean? That means, you see this dotted line? That means when I activate one part of the switch, I automatically simultaneously activate the other part of the switch. And therefore this is connected from here to here. This is connected from here to here at the same time. So one circuit is connected here. At the same time, the other circuit is also connected. That's what it means, ganged. Okay? Now, we go over splices. These are when you have a bunch of wires. At one point, they're connected together. Just simple electronics. The other are connectors. You'll see connectors all the time. Now, connectors are, you'll see them to when they go to the clutch compressor, when they go to every possible way. Computers, connectors are always there. So this is the symbol for connectors. See these little symbols over here? The pin numbers 5, 8 are the pin numbers. It could be multiple, it could be one. So the connector number or the connector will be C123, and pin number 2, 5, 8, which is the terminal of it. Same thing over here. Let's go now to examples of automotive. As I said before, starting from the basics. Like I said, I was asked to do the basics of, people are still confused how the components work and how the symbols, what they identify, and still how to read a schematic. This is why I'm going through this. And if you see my channel, Joe Electronic Schematics for Auto, you will see analog, you will see digital, you will see complicated circuits and basic analog circuits. But right now we're going through this. As we said before, you will see protective devices. In this one, you see two of them right off the bat: fuse and a fusible link. Two wires connected together, and they melt at a certain temperature, a certain rating. So therefore they will open, and they will protect the circuit. So therefore, from the generator, this goes from the alternator, it's an AC generator, to DC. This, as you see over here, the generator goes over here back to the battery to recharge the battery and also to feed the accessories. Now, the fuse. There are many type of fuses. There are maxi, there are mini. This being a maxi, it does not say that on the schematic. What it does say is the location of it for automotive, but otherwise you will not have even the location on, let's say, other audio or video. If you're troubleshooting microprocessors, it will not tell you the location. This is automotive, so it tells you the location, so that's a good thing. It tells you the rating, 175 amps. It will not tell you the color. Every color, it's color coded. So let's say over here it's 50, it's upside down, it's 50 is a red one. Blue is a different rating. Green is a different rating. It doesn't tell you the color. So those things you just know from experience, what the colors are. Is it important to know the color? Well, yeah, it's easier to find the fuse. Let's say sometimes on Fords or something, sometimes they're not too good on the fuse panel, on the fuse cover, to give you the exact location. So you have, when I look at a 10 amp fuse, or I'll look for a 50 amp fuse, I'll look for a red fuse. Again, since it's a 50 amp fuse, I'll go for the big ones, the maxi ones. The wire, the color of the wire is over here, red. Again, Automotive tells you the color of the wire. You will not have that on other schematics. Some things that give you information, some things you just have to learn from experience. So therefore, we spoke about these protective things. We spoke about, I just showed you a ground. This is a physical ground. The other side, if you ever wonder where the negative goes to the engine blocks, as I said numerous times. Sometimes if you have nothing coming on, not even the power doors work, not even the cluster, the instrument cluster comes on with the dashes, and in the dashboard and the gauges, that means you have nothing coming on. That means sometimes you can have the ground not making a good connection to the engine block. Okay, when that happens, that means either I lost a positive connection or I lost a negative connection. If you have the instrument panel on, you need about 10.5 volts, 10 volts, you could get away with it. The instrument panel will go on. But if that doesn't even go on, that means you lost your connection, or you really have a high corrosion. Please see my video about using a battery load tester. I think you'll enjoy that. But anyway, getting back to switches and getting back to grounds, we discussed. There's another fuse rated at 40 amps. Relay. According to the comment I got, if I have a problem with the relay, I go to 30 and 87 and I just jump it. Well, so what is this going to? We discussed this one time. We go over here, 12 goes to the motor and the starter. So the starter will go on. We're still left with in this excuse me. Excuse me. Boy, we're still left with ignition switch. We're still left with park neutral switch, and we're still left with this part of the relay, right? So if we jump this part, as was the response of the comment, right? So we know the starter motor is working. What about this? What about the ignition switch? What about this fuse? What about this switch? What about this part of the relay? What about this ground? Not so easy. So therefore, I give you the voltages. Red wire coming in, current flowing, coming into this fuse, coming out of the fuse, red wire at 12 volts. I give you the voltages. Not schematics don't have that. I show you the flow, the current flow. Schematics will not show you that. Still continuing to a red wire. Going into this fuse. What's the fuse? The purpose of the fuse for the ignition ace fuse. It tells you the circuits related to. Not all schematics will tell you that. Again, you go in here when this is closed. How do I know when this is closed? You see this dotted line? That means when this part is activated, when current flows through this, through terminals 85, 86, this will be pulled in, closing this circuit to this circuit. That's what we want. So in other words, current goes here, and there's a connector here. There's a connector here. It's going through this red wire, coming out the purple wire, because this was activated. If this is not activated, this will be open. No current can flow. I'll have 12 volts here, and I'll have 0 volts here. So that's part of it, going to the starter motor. Now I have much more to talk about other schematics. Like I said, sometimes the schematic will be hard, sometimes it'll be difficult. It depends on the schematic. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please go see my channel, Joe Electronic Schematics for Auto. Well, you'll see very analyze basic electronic transistor circuits, analog circuits, digital circuits, computer circuits, and thanks for watching.